welcome Ms. Mikey Coangco-Jaworth.
Hi, Mikey.
Ma'am Celia,
Good morning.
good morning po. Thank you so much for inviting me this morning. Kasi pareho kami ni Chinky. Ang dami na naming natutunan from Dr. Ginto and from Miss Eileen. So thank you to them also for sharing their expertise and their wisdoms.
Yeah, ako nga sumakit yung balikat ko eh. So I learned a lot from that exercise. Okay. Hi, first of all, congratulations for the first woman, na nasa executive board ng prestigious International Olympic Committee. Ikaw
Thank
lang
you
ang
po.
nakakaiba, no? And also, congratulations. I heard that you are now the president of the Philippine Equestrian Association.
Yes po. Although medyo frustrating po yung pagiging president ko ng EAP, kasi na-elect po ako March 11 and then we went into lockdown March 16.
Yeah.
So, that was it's a bit frustrating, and everything, all the challenges that were described earlier by Dr. Ginto and by Miss Eileen, parang pakiramdam ko na pagdaanan ko na rin po yun since the start of the lockdown. Everything that's been mentioned, even to have a very strange journey of fitness to non-fitness to yung lahat po nun na parang pinagdadaanan ko ngayon. Hindi pa tapos. The challenge still exists. So it's really helpful to be part of this today because it's not just in sharing that we learn, but we also learn from each other. So sabi ko nga po kanina nung nakikinig ako na dumaan ako sa stage na parang hyper fitness effort. So I was feeling more fit than I ever was since I retired from competitive sport. Tapos nawala yon, nawala. And it's really a challenge to stay motivated. I had a meeting recently with the members of the board of our federation, and we had asked some of the coaches kung ano ba yung nagiging challenge nyo. And really at this stage, it's for those that are still able to practice their sport, it's really a mental challenge because if you're continuing to work at your sport, some athletes are thinking, ano ba yung pinaghihirapan ko? Ano ba tong pinagtatrabahuan ko na hindi pa natin nakikita kung ano ba ang magiging reason for us to keep working very hard when we're not allowed to have any tournaments and competitions. So, it's difficult also for the athletes. Actually, it's also difficult for the sport administrators to lead our associations and our federations to the direction that we want to go, and to have everybody ready na talaga to kickstart again once we're allowed to do so. Kaya, yeah, so it's been very helpful because yung mga napag-uusapan natin ngayon, I can see how we can apply it not just to us personally, but also in our work and as leaders, and not just leaders in sports, but even in our own family. So it's easier said than done.
Yeah, that's true. Ako nga, I lost 7 kilos, right? In this pandemic time, Wow. So that's now we're coping up, and I hope we go better by as long as time goes by. Anyway, tell us some more regarding your participation as IOC executive board member, and how it can help the Philippine sports scene. So interested ako doon, lalo na sa kababaihan.
Well, definitely the level of involvement is deeper. Pero pagka tinanong talaga kung ano ba ang trabaho ng isang IOC executive board member, it's really the business of the IOC. So dati pag tinatanong ako kung ano ba yon, nag-iisip ako what's the best way to describe it. But basically, it means that I'm part of even the corporation, which is the IOC, as an entity talaga. And of course, a lot of the sporting policies, dadaan muna siya sa executive board. before we pass it on to the session. And as far as how it can benefit Philippine sports, I've always said from the start that my exposure to all the international leaders has been a very big learning experience for me. But at the end of the day, hindi naman makikinabang ang Pilipinas kung hindi ko maibabahagi yung mga natututunan ko. When I'm in all of those meetings, when I'm even just having that bit of encounter or exchange with these people who have been successful in what they do. Kaya pag sinasabi yung term na best practices, nakikita ko na ba't siya nagiging cliche, but at the same time, why it's important? Because we have to be able to learn from each other, but more importantly, we have to be able to apply to our own situation kasi hindi naman din formula yon. So kailangan talaga may exchange of ideas. It can't be done by one person alone or one organization alone. It really has to be a combination of experiences, of knowledge, and how to adapt it to us and how to apply it. So I think it's also the openness of our sports leaders to hear these things. And I think if we have the attitude that any criticism can be constructive, then I think it's gonna help us also to be a lot more positive and to be a lot more willing to really challenge ourselves and explore the possibilities.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very good insights from you, Mikey. So, how are you now navigating the drastic change from an active lifestyle? Alam ko, napaka-aktibo mo, no? To a life in quarantine. So, pwede ba mabigyan mo kami ng tips and give our audience on those things that you're doing?
Parang ako po yung nangangailangan ng tips. In the beginning, yung pag-iisip ko po parang, wow, kailangan ko tong, yung napilitan ako na mag-slow down because, it felt like life was going by so fast. I was always, parang wala nang panahon na para sa sarili. Parang ang bilis-bilis, 2018, 2019, 2020, it's like everything was going by so fast. And I really asked myself, ganito na lang ba talaga yung buhay? Parang lahat tayo palaging busy, lahat tayo palaging stressed or may hinahabol or may kailangan gawin. Pero nung nangyari nga yung COVID-19 and we went into lockdown, it felt like, okay, all of us are in the same position and all of us have to just stop. And all of us have to wait. Pero habang tumatagal at nasasanay na rin tayo sa ganito, it's a new challenge again to see how we can be more productive, how we can take care of ourselves in this new kind of environment. And in the beginning, yung mental state ko was, okay, we'll wait this out. Let's see, maybe 3 months, 4 months, tapos, we'll be a bit more back to normal. But now, normal is not the same as it was before. And I think we have to find ourselves in this normal. And parang mas busy pa ako ngayon kesa dati, except that hindi ako sumasakay sa aeroplano ngayon. So I think it's a journey of self-discovery. And I think it's a time for us to be more mindful, exactly what was being discussed, and more deliberate about what we need, want, are expected to do, So I think we have to go on that journey individually. And I already mentioned best practices earlier. So anything that can be shared, I think is a way for us also to see if it applies in our own lives.
Yeah, and that's talagang totoo yun, no? Being a woman and a housewife and a mother, you do everything, attending to the Zoom meetings, so on and so forth.
Actually,
right?
Kong Celia, alam
busy,
niyo,
no?
kasi hindi naman ako yung nagkaroon talaga ng office na pinupuntahan araw-araw. kung as an athlete, okay, you train, parang yun na yung pinaka-office. Yun na yung pinaka-office
Right.
mo, di ba? Pero for the side of sport administration, at least on my part, because when I started in sport administration, I was still competing locally. So, all the work that I had to do na hindi physical, sa bahay ko talaga ginagawa. So, yung challenge ng pagiging work at home mother or parent was there for me from the start. Yung wala kang oras, yung kung kailangan ka ng anak mo, iiwan mo yung ginagawa mo, tapos you'll attend to your family. So minsan, nakakapagtrabaho ka na lang pag natutulog na sila, pag tahimik na yung bahay. And I think that's something that a lot of mothers are going through right now. Yung change na yon na parang sobrang flexible, and the excess of flexibility is not always an advantage. So hindi ko pa rin nahanap yung paraan of how I can deal with that. But I think it's also a different kind of situation that, you know, mothers and those who are now working at home are now having to experience and find out what's best for them.
Oh, napakagandang sagot yun, no? So, I think as mothers, we have to do those things na talagang flexible tayo sa lahat ng bagay.
Over-flexible.
over talaga. So, anyway, there's still this thinking ng tao kasi ikaw talagang, we know that you're so busy. How do you balance your family life, your work life, and still having time for self-care? Sabi nila hanggang ngayon, ang ganda-ganda ni Mikey. Hindi nagbabago.
Kung Celia, mabait kasi yung asawa ko.
That's one
Tsaka
thing.
masarap magluto. I think it's so important to acknowledge what our strengths are and what our weaknesses are, not just as women but also as individuals. So gaya po nun, hindi ko strength magluto, pero strength ng husband ko, and to have a partner who is also very secure in himself na tsaka siguro ayaw niya talaga yung luto ko. But you know, to be able to share the responsibilities is very important for me. It's been a very big blessing in my life. Kasi I'm able to do the things na strengths ko because it's an acknowledgement of each other's strengths and weaknesses and everything that's in between. So I think I won't be able to do the things that I do, or you know, the ambitions or the aspirations. I won't be able to view any of that without also support. Although alam ko naman na hindi lahat may ganong klaseng support. So, you know, hats off to all the women who have to work double time to really do that. Pero as far as, okay, so of course my husband is a big part in balancing those responsibilities, but also to be able to accept that sometimes your time is not yours. So I think kailangan din natin tanggapin yon. Tsaka kung minsan kailangan natin talaga magtrabaho ng medyo madaling araw na para tahimik na lahat, then we have to do it. So, you know, it's like being an athlete. Pag kailangan mong bumangon ng maaga na magti-train ka before ka pumasok sa school para magawa mo yung gusto mong gawin, which is beyond what is viewed by a lot of people as normal, then you just have to do it also.
Yeah. Napakaganda ng sharing mo sa amin, Mikey. So, I think a lot of the women and the girls out there will learn from all these things. So, thank you so much, Mikey.